How's it going, you guys? Just getting set up here. Okay, muted. Just, whoa. Okay, hold on. That's not what I wanted to do. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just trying to get stuff figured out because I'm doing some I'm streaming multiple places as per Pixelogic's stuff. So I'm streaming on Twitch and on Pixelogic's YouTube and on Pixelogic's Facebook today. So we're gonna try that out, see how it works. Yeah, so if you're on Facebook or YouTube, say hello. What's going on? Sound is very weak. Oh, let me turn it up. Very low. Is that any better? I think it's cranked. Let's see. Oh, hold on. How's that? Is that better? Okay. Better? Okay. I was messing with the sound because I'm playing a little bit of music in my headphones and sometimes my microphone picks it up, and yeah. So I don't know if you guys can hear the music in the background or not, or if you want to. Hey, what's up, Christopher? How you guys doing, Uberbar? What's up, me? So, you know, I was gonna work on the cowboy tonight, but I'm like, you know what? I just want to do one more head. You know, it's like just one more. So I want to do just one more, and this is one more by Josh. So you can't hear the music? Okay, cool. All right, good. It's like it's what am I trying to say? It's license free, so it's okay if it leaks in a little bit. But sometimes it just gets a little quiet for me here talking to myself, you know? So I'm like, I want some music, something. Anyway, okay, let's get this party started. All right. Hey, Johnner. Yep, Abba. Yep, it's completely Christopher. Oh, it's totally in the public now, public domain. All right. Yes, Edward, how's it going, man? Let's see. Let's do it, huh? And you guys can't hear the music? Little bit, maybe? Okay. Do you want to hear the music? Some people complained about it, and so I turned it off, but I would like some myself, so. Nosferatu, something like that. He's kind of like a... kind of an undead-looking zombie dude, right? Okay. You don't hear the music still? Okay, great. Good deal. I'm just going to play with it for a second and see if you guys do. Can you guys hear that now? It's kind of quiet. Anyway, I'm going to turn it back down. Okay, let's get this guy and delete it. Yeah, totally. I need some coffee. Caffee. Let's see here. Well, I'm going to raise this up tonight just for fun up here. Hey, what's up, Night Shadow? Oh, you're funny. Funny. Okay, here we go. Alright, so this is going to be a skull. I'm just going to push that in on the sides here. Whoops, not that. This is always how I start out my dudes, if you guys haven't noticed by now. Is I just block in with primitive shapes. Hey Abram, how's it going? Love the zombies from Fortnite. You know, I haven't played Fortnite yet. Hey, what's up, Hairy Mandibles? Could I explain how the ruler's used? Do you use it to figure out how tall your model should be? I do, actually. I typically don't use the ruler in my streams, but I do use the ruler all the time. And in practical uses, I guess. And so what this is I made this ruler to be about 2 meters tall inside of Maya. So if this was going to be a real person, the head might be about this tall, and he would be, well, about this tall, this big, and it would be somewhere in this neighborhood, and then the character would go down to the floor. So then when I go back and forth between Maya, he'll be about the correct size. And then I also use it for 3D printing, where it is about 200 millimeters tall, and that helps me it gives me a bounding box to use, and then it's predictable. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just going to turn my music down a little bit. Kind of loud. Okay, but for now I'm not going to use that ruler. But yeah, as I was explaining in last week's chat, if you go over to this 3D print hub right here, and you type in 200 millimeters, oh, sometimes you have to swing it like this. 200, there we go. So 200 millimeters, I can turn inch off, then it's just 200 millimeters. Then it's going to print out life size correctly in relation to that ruler every single time. So, and it's pretty dang precise, and it works pretty well. So that's how you use it. I hope that, yeah. Oh, so if you want my ruler, you can get it over at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. So, yeah, 3D Character Workshop. That's my website, and I have a course on there. And I give away all these brushes and my user interface for free if you want to go sign up for them. So, hey, what's up, Dominique? How you doing? How's up, Dry? All right, let's see. Let's get to it. But thanks for the questions. I love questions. Okay, so... yeah, no problem. Let's see here. This guy's going to be pretty interesting with all these really cool face shapes and all these muscles and stuff. I typically put this second sphere where the eye line would be. Right, that's where the break is. Let's see. And this guy's brows are heavy. Heavybrows.com. What? Hey, what's up, Sean? You full screen in the chat when... oh, that's on Twitch. That's on Twitch. Yeah, it does. Okay, I'm just kind of messing with this a bit. I like how his skull's kind of slanted down like that. It's pretty cool. It has this really big slope. Yeah, the concept's great. This is another one by Josh Black. I've been sculpting his stuff for the last couple weeks. Super cool. I'm gonna try and get the same angles in the bottom of the jaw. Hey, what's up, Andrew? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Okay, let's get a neck in there. Yes, it does actually. Hired gun. Yep, I take you from nothing all the way to finished game character. And it's about, I guess I would say it's about 90% ZBrush, 95, something like that. It's mostly ZBrush. Oh, thanks, Sean. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Thanks, man. All right. Let's Z-remesh this bad boy already. Why not? Hey, what's up, Fabian? Is it Fabian or Fabian? How you doing, man? Let's see here. His chin is not that big. It's big, but it's not that big. Oh, somebody's... Okay, we got some chat going on over at Facebook. How's it going, man? Let's see. Hey, guys. Facebook chat. How's it going? You guys on Twitch will not see Facebook chat and vice versa. So, yeah, there's people watching over on Facebook. This is the first time, by the way. How's it going, everybody? Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. Could you give us your website again? Yes, I will. Here. I'll actually give you a link. I think I can do that. There you go. It's possible, but probably not for this stream. I typically just render these out as a high resolution model. I typically don't take the stream characters all the way to an in-game model, but yes, sometimes I will. So let's see. Could you give the website again? Oh, thanks, Keith. How did you add the second sphere? I have this brush. See this brush right here? It's called the Insert Multi-Mesh brush. And it just has a bunch of primitives. Just a bunch of quad-based primitives. And you can get this brush over on the link that I just sent on Facebook. It's and you can get my brushes and my user interface. Anyway, it's just this appendage brush. That's how I drew the neck in there. And then this sphere is how I made the second sphere. So, yeah. Am I going to Dynamesh it? Yes, I will. How do you set up the OBJ for one layer and toggle between OBJs? Oh, right here? That's just, I can go up and down up and down. These are called subtools, by the way. They're not necessarily OBJs. Yep, there's some people on YouTube. So if you see the little red play button, that's people over on YouTube. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, this is fun. In your course, what do you use to paint a character, and is there anything I would need if I was going to retopo? Okay, yes, I show you how to color your character. You'll actually see me do it in here. I use polypaint. And to do retopology, I actually use a different program. And since this is Pixelogic's stream, I just like to talk about ZBrush when I'm streaming for Pixelogic, so I won't get into the other software, but you can use anything. Honestly, you can use any software you're comfortable with, really. So, okay, let's get some more stuff going here. Okay. Let me get a nose. Okay, that's weird. Need to reset the gizmo and then do it again. There we go. Hey, Silent Thunder, did you go over to YouTube? Oh, you crack me up. Hey guys, I'm over here now. Alright. Yes, Daniel, that's becoming my favorite, honestly. I used to do it somewhere else. I've used a whole bunch of different programs, honestly, to do retop. Let's see here. I'll probably build all this stuff up later when I Dynamesh it together. I typically just like to block in the big shapes just to have something there that I can sculpt on, if that makes sense. So another thing I need to get in there is the ear. And I'll typically just use a sphere for that. And then smash it down like this. Let's see. Man, you guys are full of questions today. Hey, Patrice, thanks. Yeah, I used to do it that way, Patrice. I used to, but not anymore. Now I do it the blocking with primitives way. Kind of like, you know, kind of like the old traditional clay way where you roll up balls of clay and stick them together. That's kind of the idea here. Let's see. Going back and forth between quadra. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Y Maple? How's it going, man? Oh, you're watching on your big screen? Oh, nice. Oh, so Fabian, this is not my first time streaming. I've actually streamed for almost a year. This is my first time streaming to YouTube and to Facebook Live. So I typically only stream to Twitch. And now I have three branches. Before I would stream to my own Twitch channel and I would stream to my own YouTube channel as well. But, you know, the Pixelogic YouTube and Facebook have a much larger audience. So they're actually using Restream to push it to their larger audience, which is fantastic because more of you get to watch what ZBrush can do. So what do you think? These ears done? Done? They look good? Ship it. All right, here we go. Let's shape these guys a little better. Hey, Jonte. I actually talk about that in my course. I talk about how to make hands like I did in Disney Infinity. I should say like we did. There were several of us that worked on that project. So you want to go pull it down here. And yeah, the cowboy. So I'm working on a cowboy. Oh, hey Daniel. Ooh, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a good question though. Okay, let's see. What's I gonna do with this? Sorry, I gotta concentrate for just a second here. I'm getting a little ADHD on me, on you guys. Watching all these chat streams, it's kind of hard to keep up. Oh, thanks, Silent. How long have I been using ZBrush? Probably a good 8-9 years, something like that. Yeah, since version 2, 3, sort of. I wasn't very serious back then. Yeah, I didn't really get serious until like version 3, 3.5 or whatever. Let's see. Hey, Whack, yep. You should check out ZBrush Core. So, Whack Godin, ZBrush Core is a kind of an entry-level version of ZBrush. I think you can pick it up for like $99, and it has most of the stuff inside of that's inside the full program of ZBrush, and the money that you put towards ZBrush Core, you can also roll over into the full version of ZBrush. So ZBrush Core has like Dynamesh and most of these brushes, and it's really fun to play around with. You'll get used to the kind of the navigation and things like that. If you can and see if it's for you. You know, it's kind of like a really cool, cheaper trial to see if you like it, see if you have fun with it. So it's pretty cool. Hey from Chile, how's it going? Oh, you have Core. Okay, with the pad, cool. Right on. Yeah, Core is more of like an experimentation kind of a program. You want do a lot of experimenting with that thing. Not so much production. You couldn't really do, I mean you can, but it's a little more difficult to do production with it. Okay, I'm going to ZRemesh this. Okay, now somebody was asking about Dynamesh. This is the part where I Dynamesh it at a pretty low subdivision level. Let me hit apply and let's see what it does. No. Okay. Hey, what's up, Lance? How you doing, man? You're working with 4R7. What's the big difference with 4R8 instead of the... Oh, there's a lot. And Patrice, the upgrades are free, so you should upgrade no matter what, because it doesn't cost anything. Okay. So now I will ZRemesh this again. Turn off Dynamesh and ZRemesh it. So now all these parts are together. And then I like to ZRemesh it again at about a 2. And see how that looks. Give me a second. Then we'll start building up these forms. Hey, how do I usually do my normals? So it's basically my baking and all that stuff. I don't typically do that inside of ZBrush. I do that in other programs. So I don't go into it here on this stream. I do go into it on my online course. But I bake maps in Marmoset Toolbag, so I can tell you that much. Okay. Okay, so this is where I start making my mesh look kind of ugly, because what I'm looking for is I'm going to make a mouth cavity. I'm going to make some eye cavities. I'm going to just kind of really mess up the surface of this thing. I think I want to go higher than this, like a 4 maybe. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Hey, oh, you're new to my course and I'm doing lots of character block out, but I didn't go through the details. Okay, should I keep blocking out till I feel more comfortable with it? Yes. No, you should not always try to finish your character. So it's kind of like when you're learning an instrument, okay? So when you're learning an instrument, you don't learn, well, typically you learn scales and you learn chords, and chord progressions and things like that. And then you start learning a song, like an easy song, and then you get to a harder song and a harder song and a harder song. If you come right out of the gate and you pick a really hard song and you just push yourself to just learn that one song, then you might get frustrated and hit a wall and not want to do anymore. So you kind of want to take baby steps, and you kind of want to just teach yourself blocking out characters, navigation, hiding and showing stuff, all of those basic core things before you take a character to full resolution. That's kind of one of the huge, I guess, rookie mistakes that brand new users do, is they just want to rush to the end because, you know, you go over on ArtStation and you see all these really nice rendered out things. And so you first buy ZBrush and you expect yourself to go, hey, this is a magic program and it's going to take me to the end really quick. But it's not like that. It's like learning an instrument. You need to really practice and get used to it and build up the skills that it takes to get to the end. So I wish there was a magic bullet, but it takes hard work and practice for sure. So yeah, long story short, block out as many characters as you would like until you start feeling comfortable. The Jonte, what's up, man? It's not magic. Well, it actually kind of is magic, but it does take practice and hard work too. Yep, no worries. Okay, that's a little too close together. So this is where things get kind of tricky, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some loops. I'll push this in and start to try and get some edge loops going. And edge loops, when you Z-remesh, edge loops like to follow peaks and valleys, mainly peaks. So I typically like to start to peak out the geometry where I want the loops to follow. Which is about, I just want to make an eye cavity. Let's see. It'll take you 20 years. Yep. Let's see. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm building a flower. It's a beehive geometry flower. It looks complicated. It only has 3 simple parts. Yep, perfect. Yes. What I'm going to do for the ZBrush Summit, I'm not sure this year. I don't know if I'll be doing a workshop or if anything at all. I will be there for sure, but I don't know if I'm going to actually like participate in anything like the sculpt off or whatever. So, let's see. Let's see. How with just 512 Dynamesh looks so smooth? It depends on the size of your object in the scene, honestly. And I also have dynamic subdivision turned on sometimes, but the only thing I use Dynamesh for is to meld my primitive objects together, and then you can see that I go right back to a low resolution Z-remesh. So I don't stay in Dynamesh for very long. My workflow is kind of odd when you see it compared to other workflows. So now I'm just gonna make a mouth cavity. You know what? I think I'm gonna push it in with Z-modeler. Because all I'm looking for is a cavity. Polygroup, single poly, maybe right here. One more. Okay. Hi, Facebook weirdos. Somebody said, can you say hi to the Facebook weirdos? They're great people. Yep, scale of the mesh too. What would be a good book to have learning ZBrush? You know, there aren't many books out. And I hate to keep like pushing my course, but that's kind of why I made it. I made an online course to teach people how to do this. And that is over at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. You can check that out. So I'm just making a cavity here. Since this is just going to be a render and not a, I'm not going to make a game character out of him or anything like that. I'm just going to push this in a little bit. I don't have to go in very far here. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably enough. Then I want to build this up. Let's see here. Let's crank this intensity. See if I can get these edge loops to follow. It's going to look bad for a while. I'm just trying to get the structure and trying to get ZRemesher to follow it. That's all I want right now. Just follow it. Follow the things. And the bigger the transition, the better the ZRemesher will follow it. So, hey Blands, have I found a way to use live booleans? I have a little bit. And I could actually use them right now for the eyes and the mouth and stuff like that. I just never think about it. I don't know why. I just don't think about using them. I should. But I just kind of have my thing, my workflow, and I just kind of stick with it. I don't know why. Okay, let's try this. I know it looks bad, but here we go. We're going to crank this to a 5 and try it. From Peru. Hey man, how's it going? Okay, so this actually looks okay. Except for that mouth. Let's undo that, and I forgot to apply this. Let's smooth that mouth out, because I want rings around this mouth. That's what I want. Let's see. Let's try it again. In the Philippines, holy cow. Why sculpt on a ZRemesh instead of Dynamesh? Because well, it's lower resolution, so it stays smoother longer. Dynamesh will introduce warbles very, very quickly. I don't know if it's so. Dynamesh is great for like creatures and monsters and things like that, but when you're doing highly stylized kind of, I know this guy has some details in him, but when you're doing highly stylized cartoony characters, it's better to stay low with dynamic turned on ZRemesher. So, okay. Let's see now. Need to pull this back. I know it's weird, but that's kind of, and there's also a lot of tools that you can use with ZRemesher, like clipping and cutting and things like that, that work really, really well with a lower resolution mesh, like this trim curve. You can just like, trim this off. I mean, you can do that with Dynamesh too, but I don't know. It's just, mainly it's the smooth results. Let's see. Now it's clipping it. Anyway, so I'll push that down later. Let's see. San Francisco, man, all you guys. Would it be better to Dynamesh to get your hills and valleys and then retop on another program? Sometimes I typically will do that when I'm doing hard surface stuff, actually, because then I can explore with like clay buildup brush and things like that, and just kind of be really, really messy, and then retop on top of that. But I don't typically take it somewhere else to retop it. If it's something small, I'll just retop it in here. But when I'm doing a game mesh, I typically take it somewhere else. Okay, let's start forming this. Let me see. Is it just me? Can't find the online course you reference on. Oh, yes. Okay, Greg. It is. So I open enrollment for the course like 4 times a year, every quarter, and then I just barely got done with winter enrollment. So spring will be coming soon. And if you sign up for my user interface and my brushes and my ruler, then you'll be notified the next time the course opens up for enrollment. So, sorry for the confusion there. Hey, Jos, how's it going? Michigan. I'm pretty sure there are curves that you can draw on your mesh. Yes, Sasha, there are. And they're actually right here. It's called ZRemesh guides. But they're not, in my opinion, now this is my opinion, in my opinion, the ZRemesher guides are not as predictable as raised and lowered geometry edges. So I talked about this last week. So ZRemesher likes to follow peaks and valleys, and the higher the peak and the lower the valley, the closer the ZRemesher will follow those. So that's why the mesh will look really weird when I first start, is because I'm making these peaks and valleys for it to follow. And then after I get the flow the way I want it to, then I'll smooth it back out, and it'll be better that way. So anyway, just trust me. Just trust me. That's how I like to do it. So then with this, I just like to use the inflate brush to close this mouth and start to form this big bottom lip that he's got here. Not that big, and I need to pull this out. And I could, you know, before I start doing that though, I want to make his nostrils because I want rings around those nostrils. So I'm actually going to push those in and make some rings around them. Yeah. So again, I'm looking for the peaks. I'm making some peaks for the ZRemesher to follow. And maybe I can even get it to follow around that makes this nostril here. Otherwise, and the reason I'm wanting to get this flow, it's just so I can stay low and the geometry will follow, so it won't make, if you've ever been sculpting and you'll see like these jaggies, like these squares, because you don't have enough geometry there, rather than subdividing up, I'd rather keep it low and just have the geometry there. If that makes any sense at all. I know it's kind of... Okay, let's see if I can get this to follow around here, like this. Okay, let's try that and see what it does. Pradeep, you're going to go to your college and open the stream at your class and show others? Nice. Very cool. Let's see. Nice, nice. Can I show you how the projection works? I guess I don't understand what you're saying. I haven't projected yet so far. You missed making the mouth? All I did was I just used the Z modeler and I just extruded in to the head, and then I ZRemeshed it, and since then it just followed, the ZRemesher kind of followed around there like that. So, okay. Anyway, you can kind of see that there's some flow going on. It's not perfect. I'm not looking for perfect geometry here. I'm just looking for geometry that flows around the parts that I'm going to be modeling now. So now that they're there, now I can start to push and pull and actually make him look like this guy. Right now he looks like, I don't know, some kind of a long-faced Hulk elf. That's what I'm going with today. Long-faced Hulk elf. I don't know Jake Olson. Sorry. I'm sure he's cool. Okay, let's turn this range down. So I'm going to pull this out. His lip is disappearing. I didn't like that. I'll pull this out, and I'm just going to, sorry guys, I'm going to ZRemesh one more time just to get this mouth to be a proper loop. Okay. And you'll see how the flow followed that, the brow and everything. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So let's do it one more time. See if we can get a better loop around this mouth. Let's see. What's the last version of ZBrush this year? It is 4R8P2, and the P2 stands for patch 2. Hey, Bay Raid, what's going on, man? Thanks for dropping by, man. I'm just messing around in ZBrush, you know. It's what I do. Okay. That's gonna have to do. It's kind of weird, but what do you do? All right. Okay, this is. Let's get his hollow cheeks going. This chin, he looks sad. Sad death elf is sad. All right. I'm not doing a very good job keeping up on all you guys' questions tonight. Like I said, I have 3 streams going on. I'm streaming to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, all on Pixelogic's channel, so it's crazy. Oh, Worth. Let's see. Maybe rocks. No. Mutated jellyfish is a world builder, so he's jealous, right, Worth? Why is my questions not displaying? I almost asked 3 times. Sorry, Pradeep. I can't catch up and read everybody's. I'm sorry. Let's see. If you want to have a mesh with a closed mouth but want to make a mesh to have an open mouth, would you carve a hole and duplicate the mesh and separate them? Sorry for... I know you asked a big question. I would make the mouth just like I did right here. I would just push it in and make the cavity, and then later on I would retopologize it. So I wouldn't typically go through all of those steps, because if I were to Dynamesh this right now and I close... Well, if I close that mouth and I Dynameshed, then it would actually close the mouth and get rid of the cavity, because Dynamesh is watertight. So it will actually kind of, seam things together. So that's another reason I stay with ZRemesher, is because it does not collapse it doesn't sew my geometry shut. Or if you notice with Dynamesh, when you're using fingers and they're too close together, it will actually sew your fingers together. And ZRemesher does not do that. So that's kind of why I like to stay low, if that makes any sense. Now this, I gotta say, this is not a game resolution mesh. I'm just making a base mesh for me to sculpt on. That is it, period. This is not a game mesh. A lot of people are like, can you use a ZRemeshed mesh to animate with? And the answer is yes, but your riggers will probably follow you out to the parking lot and have a few words with you. So do not use this as a game mesh or a film mesh or anything like that. Just use it to sculpt with. That's all. Keep your riggers happy, and they'll keep you happy. Okay, let's see here. Hey Govind, I don't have, well, that's kind of a lie. I only have I have one big course. I don't have a whole bunch of small videos that show basics. Sorry about that. I just have one course that has all of it in there. Man, he looks like he's gonna cry, doesn't he? He's like, why are you sculpting me? I'm going to make this curve out like this, and then make his cheeks higher. All right. If you do retopology, I do a retopology of my character and bring it into ZBrush with UVs ready. Can I export the poly paint to use as diffuse? Sort of. That's a pretty deep question. You can transfer poly paint from a high resolution mesh to a low resolution mesh and make a texture out of it. that's kind of a deeper question, but it's down in this texture map. And you say new texture, and you say create from polypaint. But you have to have your low resolution mesh be the low subdivision level of your high resolution mesh. You can't project, you can't do that from one mesh to a complete other. They have to be in the same kind of hierarchy, the same high res and low res if you're going to do that. That's why I typically bake maps. I bake high res to low res in a texture map, and I use a different program for that. So hope that answers your question. Let's see. Let's see. So here, I'll post a, I don't know if I can do this. There's a link to my course, you guys, or my page. And then you can get these brushes, my user interface, and my ruler file, and you'll get put on my newsletter. You'll be signed up to be notified when my course becomes available for enrollment again next time. So in spring sometime. Should be pretty soon. Hey Dan, how's it going, man? Scope's looking good. I just barely started, but thank you. Oh, cool. I am streaming until 10 o'clock my time, which is probably another another hour. I might go long though. If this guy's going well, I'll go long. So that'll be awesome. Glad you're sculpting along. Let's see. If you're going to pose a full body character later in process, how much detail should you put in a neutral pose? As many as you can, Pradeep. As many as you can. Is this? I hope this is your question that you've been asking. Okay. So, for example, I don't know if you saw the pirate girl that I did a while back. I typically put all of my details on my character in the neutral pose and then pose it after that. So I don't save any details typically until after I pose it, if that makes sense. I get them all into the neutral pose. So sorry if it took you so long for me to answer that. Okay. Let's see, I need to look over on Facebook. I have too many chat windows open. Sorry, Pradeep. I'm so sorry. It took me so long to see that. Okay. Tell me, please, what I have to do in my model 3ds Max to export it to ZBrush and keep the same units. Yes, yes. Okay, I don't know what it takes going back and forth between 3D Studio Max and ZBrush. And I'm not sure if there's a Go ZBrush for that. Do a Google search for Go Z Max or 3D Studio Max. I know that there was a third-party one a while ago, but I don't know if there's an official one and if it works. But going back and forth between Maya, I typically will use OBJ or GoZ. It depends on what I'm doing. And then that is why I created that ruler, because the size difference between ZBrush and Maya, if you look under this export, see how this says scale 100? That means when I export this, it's going to increase the scale by 100 as it sends it over to Maya. And then when I come back from Maya to ZBrush, it's going to be the proper size going back and forth. I don't know exactly how that works, but that's why I kind of created this ruler and created this file. So see this ruler right here? Just so I would know what the size was and the scale was going back and forth. So I don't know what that scale would be going back and forth between Max. You might try 100 and working in meters inside of Max, 3D Studio Max, you might try it. It might work, it might not. So, Pradeep, I'm sorry, man. Oh goodness. Okay, thanks for stopping by. Okay, let's see. Do you think ZRemesh is better for high resolution? No. Okay, so for high resolution models, you can start with ZRemesher and then take it and block out and, you know, push your characters as far as you possibly can. But in the end, you'll always want to you know, subdivide or dynamesh or put your details in that way. You'll want to add the details right now, or after you add dynamesh or add subdivision levels. So right now I like to stay low because look, the surface is quite, even though it has some lumps and bumps, it's quite clean still, and that's how I like to work these days, if that makes sense. All right, let me just start getting some of this in. Okay, so these are the squares, or the, here, let me switch over to ZBrush gray. Okay, can you see that kind of these hitches right here? That's because I'm drawing diagonally across the mesh, and it's going to give me jaggies, and that is exactly why I want the mesh loops or the edge loops to follow that. Otherwise, I have to subdivide and add more geometry, which I don't want to do. Yeah, is it exactly, Fabian? Exactly. That is correct. I'm using it as if it is Dynamesh, but it's not. Let's see. I'm gonna get this cheek really hollow. Yeah, because it's essentially just, you know, Dynamesh rebuilds the surface, and so does ZRemesher. So it's whatever it takes to rebuild the surface over and over again until you get what you want, you know? Oh, thanks, Cameron. Why am I avoiding subdividing? Because, and welcome to the stream, Tudano. The reason why is because as soon as you hit subdivision, then you lose a lot of the tools that are available, including like insert multi-mesh and clip brushes, and a whole bunch of different tools do not work when you add subdivision levels. So I like to work in dynamic. You can see dynamic over here. That's dynamic subdivisions. And that is essentially just a preview of the subdivision levels. And that's what I like to work in. It's kind of a newer-ish workflow that I've been kind of developing, I guess. And I like it a lot because it allows me to kind of experiment while still, you know, not dynameshing things together. Oh, come on, draw size. Get in there. It just kind of allows me to, yeah, not dynamesh, not close up the mouth cavity, just things like that, if that makes any sense at all. And this is, okay. And I move all over the mesh. I just see something and then I start pulling it to start shaping different things. Yeah, no worries. I like Lazy Mouse when doing fine detail. Yep, Lazy Mouse is good. Let's see, still in basic ZBrush core using tutorials done by Michael Pavlovich. Awesome. I'm at the dynamic section of those tutorials. I can't afford the full version of ZBrush, but that's okay, man. It's yeah, just keep working at it. It's, you know, ZBrush core is a lot of fun. Okay, I'm gonna rework this flow a little bit because I really want to get this cheek circle to, he's kind of looking like Spock now. I love this cut back here. But again, you can everywhere you see where I don't have the ZRemesher flowing with my sculpt, you can see it start to get jaggy. Whoa, that's perfect. Okay. Love this lip. I'm gonna pull his mouth corners down more. You planning on doing a review session? Yes, I want to, Daniel. I would love to. I'm gonna put a thread in the community and have you guys post your work to it if you want me to say something about it. Let's see. Oh, when you studied 3D animation for 3 years, the only software you used to model characters was my box. Yep. We never had ZBrush. It's all right. Let's see. I'm looking over at Facebook now. Oh, also I need to keep saying that this concept art is done by my good friend Josh Black. So if you're interested in Josh's work, go check out Joshua Black on, I don't know if he has an art station. I think he has an Instagram and Facebook. Let's see. Hey Sasha, let's see, for example, I never considered using peaks as guides. Yeah. Yep, no worries. Thanks for stopping by and, giving you that tip there. Please tell me what I have to do with my Model 3s. Okay. That's the question. Poor Pradeep, dang. Alan, who's better? It's completely up to you and your workflow, man. Joshua Francis Bargain, hey man, welcome to the stream. Joel, thank you. This is the second concept. It's actually, oh, thanks Worth. It's actually like the fifth. So I love Josh's work. I love it. So he just, he was one of the concept artists on Disney Infinity when I worked on Disney Infinity, and he just has a very, very solid sense of volume and form, and it makes his stuff easy to sculpt. So I like, and same with like Johannes Helgeson and like Dean Yeagle, and there are a handful of artists that just really, really get form, They just understand it, and it makes things incredibly easier to sculpt. Okay. I'm trying to decide how thin he would be in the jaw. His neck will be thicker, of course. I'll work this area out here in a bit. Yeah, I'm kind of ignoring the neck right now. I know it's thin and long and weird. We'll work that out later. Okay. Oh, Zenny God, thanks, man. Okay, let's see. I'm going to duplicate this off because I want to try, let me just save it. I want to try and Z-remesh this and just see what happens now that I have these extras in here. So I'm going to apply dynamic. That's what I always do, is I apply the dynamic. If I don't, it's going to try and Z-remesh this. This is my real, this is what it really looks like without preview turned on. And see how jaggy this is right through here and down this. It's, I don't want Z-remesher to try and follow that, because sometimes it'll follow the faces and it will follow the jaggies, and that's not what I want. So if I turn on dynamic and I hit apply, then if I hit Z-remesher, should do a better job. We'll see. And then we'll give him some eyeballs. Give him some eyes in here. Okay, there we go. see what this looks like. Yep. Didn't keep the loops around the mouth, but that's okay because our mouth is kind of already in place. But check it out. See how well it followed this geometry? Very nice. I'll take it. Much smoother and nicer. It's a little too heavy now. Okay, let's get some eyes in here. Let's see. Not this big, maybe. Oh, hey, Govind. Thanks. Okay. Now I'm going to try. I'm going to try Danny's technique. Danny Mac. Danny Mac is another streamer on here, and whenever he does eyeballs, he typically will use half spheres and make the eyelids with those. So I wanted to do that, but first I want to group split. Well, cancel. I want to split unmask points. There we go. Then I'm going to make his lower eyelids. Is that what I want to do? I'm trying to think. And the reason why I'm hesitating is because if I do that, if I make the eyelids a separate piece, then they'll automatically have this line separating them, the eyelids from the head. And since I've already gone through and dynameshed and made everything come together, I'm kind of too far in the process to do that. So that's I think I'm just gonna do it my traditional way this time. I was thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just going to do it the way I usually do it, which is brute force. Because I want it to remain part of this mesh. So I'm just kind of dragging some of this geometry up and out, and it will become the lower eyelid. See, that's kind of cheaty. Cheat face. Okay. Looks like I still need to bring it around here. And out. Let's see. Sorry, I'm neglecting chat for a minute just because I'm focusing. Okay, that's too far. Let's get it to settle down into place. Let's see. I mean, my friend got her a job at the end of the last year. Cool. Is it possible to isolate the mouth and hit it with ZBrush guides? You can't, like I said before earlier in the stream, ZBrush guides are great, but they're unpredictable. So they don't, like, the ZBrush does not always follow those guides as much as you would want them to. They're kind of they're kind of like, I don't know. It's if there was a percentage, it seems like they follow them like 50% maybe, and I would like them to follow them 100%, if that makes sense. So I will typically do large plane changes, like with peaks and valleys. I'll really push it in or pull it out, and it seems like the ZBrush will follow the changes in direction like 90% of the time, or 80%, 90% of the time. I just get a better percentage with actual geometry rather than the guides, I guess. His retopple process for the head. Oh yeah, I love Danny Mac's stuff. He's a great guy. He's good. But I just need to think about it earlier. I typically don't do that, and I need to. I want to add the eyelids like he does sooner. But I need to dynamesh them into the head sooner, and I've already kind of passed that point, if that makes sense. So let's see. So this will just have to do. This will have to do. Thanks, Damien. Jose. Oh, you like that material you mentioned? Which material? Are you talking about ZBrush Gray? Or which material are you talking about? I'll bring these brows down. Heavy brows. I'm gonna have to puff them out. It's the brow meat. Yeah, this I either typically use like Skin Shade 4, like this, it's really bright, or this ZBrush Gray. Or ZBrush Gray modeling is kind of fun. It looks like this. Since he's kind of a gray dude, we'll keep it in that. It'll be kind of fun. Let's lift his nose more into this area. I really like this kind of muscle that's coming off the nose and going into his eye. Do I know what that's called? No, I don't. I just sculpt it. And I use the Move brush more than anything else. Everybody's like, what brush do you use? What brush do you use? I either use the Detail brush, which is essentially the Damien standard brush, or I use Pinch or Move. That's pretty much, and then Smooth, of course. But there's not like, you know, magic brush. It's kind of cool. I like this flow. And I want this to stick out, or I want the side of his skull to push in more behind this eye thing. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Rob? How's it going, man? Yep, test complete. It worked. They're like the pirates going, they're more of a suggestion than an actual law. It's so true. I always equate it to like making a wish, you know, like throwing a penny in a wishing well. It may or may not come true. Your Z-remesher may or may not follow your guides. Sometimes it'll make some really crazy faces too. Like you'll get these rogue faces. They're like, where did that come from? It's like some just some weird face. Silent, absolutely. And the one brush is Move. That is the one brush. I like to create like that cup behind the ear and have it kind of push down into the head. Sometimes I'll emphasize it, like push this in. Yeah. This guy's so mean. This is sticking out. You know, so this is one thing that a lot of people overlook, and it's the part by the right behind the side of the eye, right here. And like notice when you're walking down the street and kind of walk behind somebody and look at the side of their head from the back. you know, from the back side. And look how deep the eye socket sits into their head, because you can see their forehead, then you can see the socket, and then you can see their cheek come out down to their chin. And most new modelers will that's a little too big. Will neglect that, and they'll make the eyes straight across and kind of even with the rest of their head like a big box, you know, and they won't pull that eye socket back into the head. You really need to pay attention to that. So like from this angle right here, this guy's kind of weird faced, so you don't really you can't really tell, and his nose is up there. But just kind of not stalking people, but if you just happen to be walking behind somebody, look at the side of their head. You'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, I noticed that from this angle right here, on this side, his cheek was too far up, and you'll see it. See it over here? If I pull it back, it looks better. I'm going to push it in too. Then let's cut it in. Hey Rob, yeah man, 2 weeks. I'll be talking to you. Same with Mutated Jellyfish, he'll be there with me. Hey Ginger Bear. Oh, no worries. No worries. My pleasure. I wish I could get through more. It's my only regret, I guess. Okay, now I'm using pinch brush. Just gonna put a kind of a crease along here. Might be a little too harsh. Yeah, no worries, man. My pleasure. Yeah, Geigart, come say hi. I'll be around. It's an occasional player. How's it going? Welcome, Juan. How you guys doing? Hey, Dwayne. Thanks for stopping by YouTube, man. Let's see. There's this, I like this crease, but I don't know if I'm going to get it before I subdivide. Whoops. I just turned Z sub off. Gotta be careful. Sometimes you hit that space bar and this menu comes up, and then you accidentally hit something. You're like, what did I do? Yeah, I'm not going to GDC for anything in particular. I'm just going to be floating around, scoping out the place. It's been a while since I've been there. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. And if you see me, say hi. For female characters, how do you acquire makeup knowledge? I just fake it, John. Honestly, I do. I just do some like... I typically will do red across the center, and if it's a male, I'll do some blue, like for, you know, like my 5 o'clock shadow here. But on females, I leave that out and kind of bring the red down into the lower areas, and then I'll do some eyeshadow, but not extreme. Just, you know, like I'll typically take the skin tone and then maybe push it to a blue or purple or something like that, or even just a brown, you know, like a darker tone of the skin, and just paint it up in the eyes just to make her eyes themselves pop. So I don't know. I don't have any makeup experience at all, so I just kind of wing it. Yep, makeup tutorials are on YouTube, every other channel. Let's see. Gosh, I keep wanting to do that, but it's not. I'm going to pull these. All right, Grovine. Thanks for stopping by, man. Come back again next week. I'll be here. But not the week after. Well, would I be the week after that? On the week of the 20th, I'll be at GDC, so I will not be streaming that week. Let's see. I want to make his eyelids even lower. Looking more fierce. All right. You and Gabe, is Gabe gonna be there? Like, are you talking about Gabe Olson? That'd be awesome if it's true. What's the best way to get the basics of proportions? I guess use heads, yes. Well, honestly, okay, heads are the easiest thing, okay? But you can use anything to measure against anything else, anything. So, you know, like for this guy, I could use his nose, you know, and I'm constantly measuring distances. Like, could I fit his nose in the same area as from the bottom of his nose to his lips? You know, that's one measurement. How wide is his cheek compared to his lips? You know, like the distance here is kind of equal to the distance here. Yeah, I'm just constantly, and I'm doing that all the way till the end. I never stop measuring because it's just, it's such a big part of it, you know, and that's kind of where you get your likenesses from and how you nail the concept. So just kind of want to pull this part up and out. See, and while I'm talking about it, I just see stuff. I'm like, oh, I want to fix that. I want to fix that. What is GDC? A Game Developers Conference. It's held in San Francisco. And I haven't been for a long time. So I'm looking forward to it. Trying to get this shape so it's not peeking out so much. Let's see. I should read the rest of your question. I guess he's heads. There's some like rules or particular method for learning stylized no, it's the same. It's the same. You know, stylized, realistic, it doesn't matter. It's kind of just an exercise in comparing relationships and volumes to other things all the time. That's why, you know, even painters, sketch artists, they're constantly like looking and holding their thumb out and getting proportions because they're just measuring. It's all about measuring, measuring, measuring. So that's, there's no real other way to do it other than that. And you just get better at it, you know, with experience. Just get an eye for measuring. I'm not saying I have it. Let's see. What am I doing for work these days? I'm doing my online course. of course, and I am doing some freelance for somebody I have not revealed yet. So, yep, I do some freelance work here and there, but not too much. I typically spend most of my time working on my course because I keep adding new content. I just barely added a new interview with Ian Jacobs. Ian Jacobs was one of the character artists on Disney Infinity who worked with me, and he was in town from Texas last Sunday, and we sat down for 2.5 hours and we went through a bunch of his characters and talked about them and talked about, you know, what we cared about, what, you know, and little stories with them, you know, like, do you remember this one? Remember that? And how it was so hard, and how we talked to Marvel, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It was fun. It was really cool. You remember Ian? Cool. His ears are more, his ears are looking sad, and they're not sad. The happy is. So I'll do industry interviews like that, and I'll add them to the course. Oh, thanks. Yeah, before the new tools, yep. It was warbly. Yeah. Hey, the Determined Artist. Thanks, man. Well, thanks for stopping by so much. Maybe you can stop by again next Tuesday. I'll be here. Just gonna pull out one more detail if I can. Hey, Adam. Let's see. Awesome, dude. I know so. The question over on Facebook is, should you buy a pad as big as this? No, this is absolutely unnecessary. This is overkill, and I essentially own this because it speeds up my production. That's the only thing it's good for, honestly. But a Wacom tablet, a bamboo, even the one that comes with ZBrush Core, perfectly adequate, absolutely adequate. You do not need a Cintiq. You do not need a giant, ridiculous tablet like this. That's not necessary. So this is just, the reason I like a Cintiq is because basically when I make a stroke on my model, I typically only have to do it one time. And if I'm using an Intuos tablet or something like it, then I turn on Lazy Mouse. I'll typically have to do the same stroke like 4 or 5 times until it gets to where I want it to be. So that's about the only difference, really. Other than that, it's pretty much the same idea. Yeah, it's Nihao. Yeah, it's nice to have for sure, but it's expensive and you don't need it. It's not necessary, is what I'm trying to say. You shouldn't feel bad and say I can't become a good artist because I don't have a Cintiq. That's not the truth. Yes, it's nice. Luxury. And I kind of worked my way up to this guy. It's like, actually, Josh Black, the guy who drew this concept artist, he bought my old Cintiq, my 24-inch Cintiq. And there's some things I like about that's more than this one. Like the buttons on the side. I've preached about that before. Let's see. His neck is really skinny and weird. I'm sorry, Cody. I have no idea. I think I messed with one at Bow University. My friend Russ had one. If that was indeed it. It was just an off-brand. It wasn't a Wacom, so I assume it was that, but I don't know. Sneakman. Yep. There's definitely a love relationship going on there. But honestly, I don't know. I'm not too amped about the new ones, you know? It's just like every year they come out with a new one. And it's just bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, oh, come on, you guys, really? Oh, double Adam's apple. That's not going to work. Oh, really? Huh. Your model looks so clean, no bumps. Oh, it's just practice, man. And like, I'm using ZRemesher, not Dynamesh. You just gotta kind of go with it. Let's see. But I didn't always use ZRemesher. You can do it in other ways. Oh, geez. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Just want to like get that. Call this the mastodon. Oh man, I'm so bad with muscle names. You have no idea. No idea. Oh, come on. Push it in. So don't ask. I couldn't tell you. And I know this goes up behind the ear and yeah, but whatever. It should be like, his neck should be like way wider than this. Maybe I can get it wider. Let's see. Sometimes I neglect the neck. Neglect the neck. Let's see. I'm an inspiring game developer and my skill in ZBrush is a beginner. Are stylized characters the best way to begin straight off the bat, or should I learn realistic anatomy? Thomas, I would say realistic anatomy for sure, because stylized doesn't mean no anatomy. It actually means stylized anatomy. So if you have the anatomy skill first, then you'll know how to stylize it later, if that makes any sense. Like all this stuff, it's in the structure is in a face. This is just very stylized. So I hope that helps. Need a glass wipe. All right. What's the point of the topological brush when you don't have poly groups? I thought it was just for painting on the first selected poly group while blocking. Let's see. Ginger Bear, I'm trying to understand that question. When you don't have poly groups. Are you talking about like drawing topology on a surface of a thing? This is the topology brush, right? Is that what you're talking about? And when you don't have poly groups? Maybe, yeah, maybe, I guess I don't understand your question. Let's see. Third time's a charm. Yeah, good luck, man. Let's see. Notice my 3D art looks better in 2D. Some people are this way, but I would say I should focus on drawing characters rather than sculpting first. You know what? I'm gonna go on record saying drawing absolutely helps, completely helps, but I'm not the best 2D artist ever. I just see 3D forms and I understand 3D forms and I just get it. And when I try to put my knowledge into 2D on a piece of paper, I get lost and my drawings are not that great. So there you go. Take it for what it's worth. But then you have people like Matt Thorup who can draw circles around me. You know, he's a phenomenal sketch artist. So and you can tell it helps his sculpting for sure. And like Danny Williams, he's also a great sketch artist. But I'm not that great of a 2D artist for sure. The top lighting brush So you can retopo a mesh. Okay. You meant the topological button. Oh. You know what? Yeah, this doesn't need to be on anymore. I just had it on. I left it on for when I, that should have been off. Sorry, man. Okay. The topological button. You know, the topological button's it can be evil sometimes because it'll slow you down. If you have a dense mesh and you have topological on and it's trying to like figure out the surfaces and things like that behind the scenes, it'll really slow you down. So if you ever like slow down and you wonder why, then first check and see if you have subdivisions and dynamic on at the same time. That's number one. Number two is look and see if you have topological turned on. Okay. Hey, welcome back, Pradeep. Let's see. Well, hopefully I'll see your questions this time. Sorry about that. What the heck did I do with my focus? There we go. You can also turn off dynamic and it'll be a little smoother and faster. But then it doesn't look as good. Yeah, there aren't any poly groups anymore, so it absolutely does not matter. You were correct in your assessment. I had it on because I didn't know that I had it on. If that makes any sense. Let's see, that's way too fast now. Yeah. Dude, I pictured you going, why is that topological button on? Because I'm an idiot? Oh, that's a good question, man. Let's see. So I'm just going to clip him flat. Oh. Thanks, Jace. How's it going, man? Just making this this elf dude, whatever he's doing. So let's see, we're sitting about 9:33. All right. Let's subdivide him and color him up and add the details. What do you think? Yeah, let's do that. Because we're farther along than I usually am. This guy's a little easier than, like, say, an elf girl with lots of hair. That's why when people say, how long does it take you to make a model? Well, it kind of depends on the design, you know? If it's like an elf girl with lots of hair, it takes a little longer than a guy like this. Let's see, I want to pull the back of his head. So when I get to a point like this, a lot of times I'm like, I like to kind of pull back and kind of see where he's at and make some big changes, make some big moves. And what I like to do is duplicate it, hide the old one, and then we're going to look and see kind of some stuff we can do that's big before we subdivide him up. And I want to take his mouth in like this. That's kind of fun. And then his brow, I want to come up and out more. And see this shape right here? It comes down his cranium and then it pops out, and there's kind of this sharper edge before it kicks back down to his eye. And it's sort of doing that, but see how this is kind of low. So I want to make it higher. Make the eyebrow meat kind of follow it. Yeah, but then that makes his brow kind of kicked a little too high in the expression. Let's see. Yeah, Dr. Jones a lot. I actually, so I commissioned Josh to do these because of that reason. I'm going to be sharing a bunch of concepts with you guys soon, and this is one of them. Okay. Now I want to make his ear turn differently and kind of go up like this. Go down like this, like that. You want even a sharper jawline. Yep, tap, 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 tap. If you pose, I'm getting your question this time, Pradeep. If you pose a character with bent fingers and legs, it's going to change the shape a lot. So is it okay to spend time on sculpting details in neutral pose? Because we might have to change a lot later according to pose. Yes, it doesn't, honestly, it does not matter. I will still put the details in the neutral pose. It depends, but I do stylized characters. I'm not doing realistic characters that have like all of those knuckle lines and everything that are going to stretch when you bend. I think that's what you're talking about, right? So when you bend your hand, those little knuckle lines are going to stretch, right? So if you're doing a realistic character with knuckle lines like that, then you might consider waiting until after you've posed it in, you know, how you're going to pose it. Yes, absolutely. But for me and my stylized stuff, the hands are very smooth. They don't have the details on the knuckles like that. So I typically I don't save them for later because they're there. That being said, sometimes I will have a crease that goes across all the knuckles or like a ring or something like that. And if it does stretch, if it gets bent when I put the character into a pose, I will go back and clean that up later. And I will go redraw that crease, or, if the ring got stretched, I'll have to push it back into place, things like that. Because when you're posing a character, naturally you're going to stretch stuff, you're going to break stuff. And it typically happens with like armor and like stretching armor, especially in the hip area. If you have belts, if you have belts and things going across your midsection line, and you have, say, one leg high and one leg stretched out behind, where that high leg is, and if you have belts and stuff like that, they're going to get all munged up and all, they're going to get broken. So you are going to want to reshape those or even pose them separately. So sometimes I will hide all the belts and I will pose the leg and get it into place. Then I will unhide one of the belts and I will repose that. That way I know that it's not going to stretch when I pose. It's going to be, I'll be able to pay more attention to it and not have it come along for the ride with the leg. So there's a whole bunch of little tricks that you can do that way. So, yep, cloth wrinkles. Cloth wrinkles are actually a different story because the pose will dictate how the cloth is going to wrinkle, right? If you're going to have your arm above your head like this, all these wrinkles are going to come from this tight area and cascade out. And if your arms are down, there's not going to be those wrinkles there. So yeah, of course you're going to put new wrinkles in based on where your pose is. That's a really good question. Let's see. Let's see, the hardest part, learning experience, finding a full T or M pose, human male and female turnaround reference images. Yeah, so, well, there's there's a Le Scorche. I don't know how it's pronounced, or Ecorche. I don't know how it's pronounced. Anyway, there's a if you look up Michael DeFeo or Scott Eaton, that's, oh, I don't know if you can see it. I actually have. Hold on one second. I'll show you. Oh. Okay, I'll just pull him off the base. Anyway, I have this guy. If you guys can see him, this is this is a 3D model from the app. And you can get this on an app, and you can study it if you watch Danny Mac's streams. And these come off too. They're magnetic. But there's an app that shows you this maquette in detail that you can actually use as reference if you want. Let's see, I gotta turn him around. Sorry, he's super delicate. And I'm tethered. Okay. Ecrochet. Is that how you say it? Oh, thanks, Worth. Yeah, Pradeep. Sorry, man. I owed you one. Okay. I'm going to tuck these ears back. I hope that answers your question. Then there are lots of reference models online too. Just, you can find them around. You can find 3D body scans. Okay, Ecrochet. It doesn't look like Ecrochet. Looks like Le Scorche. I know that's not right. Yeah, those headphones, they do. So they're hooked to my, I have a mixer right here. And they're hooked to that. Yeah, I don't know. Homebrew art references, yeah. Okay, 42. Let's now that I made the big changes, I want to pull the skull up even higher in the back. Like that. Okay. Ecorche. Okay. Thanks for helping me out, guys. My uneducated self. Let's see. This is the only time I really use clay buildup, is when I'm doing this. Putting this muscle in and smooth it out. But you can see that, you know, the jaggies come out because because it doesn't flow. See, I'm really sculpting on this. This is the base right here. So this is my sculpt right here. I just have dynamic turned on, so you can see the smooth. But that's where the jaggies come from. Seaman. Oh man, all of them, all the packs. That's funny. I'm just faking this, whatever this is. Putting some stuff in. Okay, let's hit apply. Thanks. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Songmaster. Songmaster. Let's go up to about, we got 2.696 million. Now we can start getting some detailed surface stuff. Okay, so we're committed. We can still go back down, but if I want to straighten out these warbles in the ear, whatever, and go back up. So I'm going to save it at this point, just to make sure in case it crashes. Let's see. I'm just going to go back to ZBrush Paint now. This is ZBrush Paint, and you can see that he's just like a super white guy. Let me see if I miss any questions. Raphael Grassati, yeah. Yeah, the move brush is the one you should master. Yep, you gotta move it. Learn that move brush. Yes, Jake, I do prefer dynamic over Dynamesh for sure. Or when do you use dynamic versus Dynamesh? So I explained this earlier in the stream today. I use Dynamesh when I want to merge objects together. Then I will almost immediately go back into a ZRemesh state with lower resolution. And the reason why is because if I'm doing stylized sculpts like this, it keeps the surface smoother, way smoother. As you can kind of see, the surface is smoother. If I'm doing Dynamesh, then it kind of introduces warbles all over the place, and it's harder to manage. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Kygart. Oh man. I want him to be kind of this light blue gray tone. Yeah, like something like this. Okay, and then let's see. Warble sounds like an evil hamster. Yes, Warble. Oh, Moose Man, I'm using a Cintiq 27-inch. That's what this is. Oh, by Wacom. Let's see. Is there any tips you can think about move? I never mess with dynamic, and I kind of keep it at the base intensity, the default intensity. Sometimes I'll move it around, and then I just mess with draw size. There's really nothing to it. I typically use small moves. So, if you're moving a bunch like with big brushes, you're going to cause warbles. You're going to cause evil gerbils. So you want to make very small moves. You'll know, that's why you hear me tap 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 tap, because I'm making very small moves. Like say if I wanted to push the geometry behind this eye socket thing, I wouldn't make a big brush and try and push it in, because it'll just cause weird things. So instead, and I will go to my lowest resolution. I hardly ever use move when I'm in my higher resolution. And then I just kind of just tap, just slowly go along that edge and push it in. And I will also align my camera to the angle that I want to push it in, because it's based on your camera alignment. So, let's see. And then Songmaster, what is your favorite Disney Infinity sculpt? My favorite was Boba Fett, I think. He was a lot of fun. Let's see. Yep, Boba Fett was I don't know if it was necessarily the hardest. Like the females are a little harder. I'm trying to think. Like getting the female faces, and Boba Fett's just he has a helmet on, so he doesn't have a face that you have to nail the concept. Like Tinkerbell and Ahsoka, like Gamora, all of the females, their faces are really difficult to get, one, appealing, and two, looking like the person it's supposed to look like. So Gunthix? I don't know who Gunthix is. It could be. My friend Josh Black did this concept, so I don't know who, if anybody, who it is. John. Yep, totally right. Very odd. Okay, when I do little tiny details like these like the lip wrinkles, I'll usually turn symmetry off and put those in. I'll put one down the front from. And I smooth out the tops typically. Then we can come in with this hard edge, pinch, maybe do some, I kind of like the indication of one right here. Maybe not that intense though. Oh, symmetry was off. Gotta remember to turn that back on. Try it again. I want it to taper. All right. Okay, let's do some. Well, let's do some details in his ears, and then some on his eyelids, and then we'll do some color, the rest of the color here. Sorry, I'm gonna focus for a minute. See. Then I want this detail coming out of his eye going like this. There we go. Okay. Pirates of the Caribbean sculptures? No. Okay, then I'm going to sharpen up this edge around his nostril. And it's too sharp, so you knock it back with smooth. And then maybe push those in further. There we go, and then let's bring this, let's see. So, okay, here's a prime example. See that? See how it's making this crease right here? I don't want that crease, right? And that's just from the move brush. I want to move this nostril down, but I do not want that crease. So, you just go to your lower resolution, lower subdivision levels. And you don't have to be at the lowest, you can go up one. And then just do, small moves, and then just walk up. And now you don't have that crease. No crease. Just clean. Okay, now let's get into the color. This is the fun part. All right, let's, and I want to add some like purples, deep blues. Sorry that I'm not answering questions. I'm just focusing really quick because it's getting close to time. Let's see. Just gonna darken in around his eyes. I really want to darken these eyelids and up underneath here. kind of this purple. And you can fake some ambient occlusion too. Just kind of work it through here. And his eyes will change to whatever color I currently have because I haven't filled them with any color yet. So that's right now, it's showing you the color that I'm using to paint this with. So how did you get the pinch brush custom? So these are my brushes that I made. You can get them over at 3dcharacterworkshop.com, and I give them away for free and along with this user interface, and you can use all these brushes that I'm using right now. And I also do an online course where I teach how to do this stuff, and I teach how to make game characters. That's kind of my thing. And so if you're interested in that, it'll put you on the newsletter, and you'll be notified when the course becomes open for enrollment again. We just barely opened it for winter enrollment not too long ago. So we got some awesome new students in there. Okay, now let's do some, I want to put some reds in there. But I want to go to the magenta side. Hey, Pradeep, let's see. What if the character has an expression on his or her face? Is it okay to sculpt the expression from the start, or do the normal face and then do the expression like angry, frustrated, according to the concept, applies on this character? So this character, I'm putting the expression in here. But typically, if you're going to be doing a game character or a film character, make the face as neutral as possible and then do the expression after the fact. So I typically do not sculpt the expression in here like I'm doing right now. This is just for a high resolution render while I'm streaming. So I typically don't do the expression. Let's see. So I'm going to warm these ears up with this red maroon color. And the nose, I think I want it even more red though, magenta. Let's go super pink with it and see what happens. And on his cheeks, just a little bit. Then I'm going to go kind of a yellowish orange up on his, look at his eyes, they keep changing color. Hey, what's up, Brody Perkins? Welcome, man. So I just lightly put some yellow up in the top here. I do want his lip to be, I kind of like it light like that, but let's see if we can make it reddish. Then I'm going to put some blues. Let's see, down in his chin, and let's see, this area down in here. Kind of blend them together. Then I'm going to do just some highlights here and there. So I just grab this color and take it much lighter. What is sharp? Just add a little bit of, I'm sounding like Bob Ross, just a little bit of highlights. Just here and here. How do you add subsurface scattering on the thin part of the ears? That is in a material. So I would either have to do that when I render, like if I took this to Keyshot and I gave him a subsurface scattering texture, they do have subsurface materials in here, but they're not like your typical rendered versions. They're like a waxy material that kind of, you know, does its best to fake them or whatever. But yeah, I'd probably do it in Keyshot. So somebody's asking about the ears. So how do you make these ears sharper? If I wanted to make them sharper, I just go down to lower resolution and I turn RGB off of my shift brush. So my shift is smooth. And if I have RGB turned on, it's actually going to smooth out the colors. And I don't want to do that. I just want to keep it like that. But what I'll do is I'll typically zoom in and just use the move brush and the smooth brush and just make them, you know, sharper. Use the move brush and make them sharper, if that's what it takes. But typically I don't go crazy sharp. If I ever want to print this, this is like danger zone in this if I make them that sharp. So where can you get the ZBrush materials? Just look for ZBrush on Google. So ZBrush, you can do ZBrush gray or ZBrush whatever, and you'll find them. ZBRO. That's what you look, and you'll find his materials. Okay, let's see. Just want to highlight. Whoops, gosh, wrong brush. Just want to highlight this a little bit. Okay, I want to make his eyes kind of, I actually like the color that they are right now, but maybe a little bit in the yellow. Yeah, let's do that. Share some reference anatomy images? What? Let's see. I have, you can look me up on Pinterest. I have a whole Pinterest page full of anatomy stuff, if you want. Let's see. I'm gonna apply. Okay. I'm just gonna add some like reddish tones to these eyes, just so they look like they got blood in them, I guess. Okay, and then I'm gonna pinch his eyelids. What I do with that, that'll just catch the light a little better. There we go. And you can see how it's kind of uneven. It goes thick to thin to thick to thin. I just want it to taper along the whole and go just from thin to thick as it goes out. Much better. All right, let's get some pupils on there. Sonny God, go get it, man. It's over at my website. Just go grab it. Okay, let's turn off symmetry. Yeah, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. Here, I'll give you a link. Let's see, Facebook. There you go. All right. I'm gonna fill these with an eyeball material. So ZBrush also makes a fantastic eye reflection material. He actually makes several. So here you can kind of see some previews of them. You can't really tell because the material is white, but I'll typically fill the entire thing with it like this, and then I will go to M, which is material, and then fill it, which is just filling the eyeballs. It's not filling the head. And then I'll just go back to the ZBrush paint, which is this. See, so he has these kind of really cool reflections going on, and I'm gonna kind of fake some ambient occlusion on those eyes, just some shadows. Let's see, because they're way too white. Let's darken them up. There we go. Just to set them in there, you know. They were looking a little bit like too white. Okay, and then one more thing I want to do before I put the pupils in, I keep getting distracted, is I just want to run a dark bead around his eyelashes just to darken them up a little bit. Okay. Why aren't you... Oh, you got to turn RGB back on. Okay. There we go. So I gotta rotate him so my arm wants to work better. Because like I've said in other streams, if you're right-handed or left-handed, your arm really only has one perfect stroke, right? And it's like from your elbow or your wrist going like this. So in ZBrush, it allows you to move your character where you can get a nice stroke like this. Go down to this one, just move them completely upside down. And it's kind of hard to get used to, but it's like if you think of it like a trackball, and move your, put your pen like clear out on the edges instead of in the middle to try and, make the trackball thing work. You'll get better results. You'll just get used to how to flip it around. Maybe I'll just go like this. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, now let's go black. And put the pupils in. It's hard to see with that reflection. I should probably put that on later. Funny. Gosh, I want to get this shape is missing in his lips. See, it's going kind of straight down. I want it to poof out and then go back in. So I'm gonna work that area really quick before I call it tonight. Going down a couple of levels of subdivision so it's easier to move. And then this is really flat, so I'm going to push this out more. Then let's pull his cheek in. Kind of hard because they're working against each other. I could with the nostrils, like I totally could. I don't know. Because they're not black, they're still catching light, so I really don't go too much darker, but the shadow typically takes care of them. Yeah, see how they start to kind of draw attention to themselves. Same with the ears. You don't really want to go super dark with the ears. you know, because it just looks kind of, it looks fake. You need to like kind of look at people's ears and see what they really look like. Okay, I want to kind of pull this in more. This is just the, this is kind of the polish stage. This is just trying to get it to look more like the concept. Pull this out and this out, but push this in. And I want it to be like this, to be round like this, but from the side, from this side, I don't want to see this piece. If you're looking at it, him at 3/4, and now his cheek is really far out. Let's see. Doesn't come. I mean, I want him to be gaunt, and I want him to come out that far, but okay. Let's see. I'm gonna try one more thing. I'm just gonna build up some muscle in here just for fun. Just to make it look kind of interesting surface striations, I guess. Like his drawing here is really cool, that plane. I'm gonna do some of that on his lips too. Just to kind of get more of that lip wrinkles, I guess. Without it looking like a mustache. And it's I probably should have turned off symmetry to do that. I don't know that I like those there. It's too much. Okay, let's go back to that. But I do want to try, because this is really plain and I want something here. Something like that. All right, just little things. Anyway, let's see. Little tweaks. Hey Elizabeth, yes, yep, it's, so I've been streaming for 2 hours and 14 minutes so far, and I'm about to wrap it up, but typically Pixelogic will get this on the YouTube website, and if you do a search for Shane Olson under the, or even Shane Olson ZBrush or Shane Olson Pixelogic, you'll find all of my past streams, and you can watch all that stuff. But this should be up within the next couple days. Usually only takes them a couple days. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap this guy up for now. Let's get him in a spot. Turn on perspective. Let's see if I'm missing anything else. Pull that eyebrow down just a bit. I want some more wrinkles on his lips. Let's turn up the intensity. do some short ones. Oh, turn off lazy mouse. Steady hand, takes a steady hand. That's better. All right. Cool. All right, you guys. I think this is what it's gonna be. I keep noodling. I can noodle forever. Because right now it makes me want to go. Let's see. Turn on symmetry. Like I just keep seeing stuff, you know. All right. I gotta stop. I'll keep going. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. We will see you. Yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday again, same bat time. So once again, if you want this my user interface and these brushes, and it comes with a ruler. See this ruler right here? That's jammed through his head. Yeah, this ruler will help you go back and forth between Maya, and it'll also help you with 3D printing. There are some videos on my website that show you how to install my user interface and my brushes and how to use that ruler. So if you're interested, it is at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. And I would like to thank Pixelogic for letting me stream again. As usual, it's always a pleasure. And I will be at GDC from the 20th through the 24th. GDC is the Game Developers Conference. So if you guys are going to be there and you see me, I'll be wearing probably a 3D Character Workshop shirt. It has a bear on it and stuff. And if you see me, come say hi. I'd love to talk to you. So I'll be there. And gosh, what else is going on? I think that's it for now. But I'm going to hide. I like to give the guys at Pixelogic a better shot, a better screenshot. So I'm going to hide the text for a minute. But thank you guys for stopping by. I loved all the questions today. Thank you so much. Let's get zoomed up in here. I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to change this to toy plastic and then fill his eyeballs with that instead of because it's kind of overpowering. There we go. Just have one little round highlight. And then go back to Skin Shade 4 or ZBrush Paint. There's also this ZBrush viewport that's pretty crazy. Look at that. It's too dark. All right. Where did it go? ZBrush Paint. There we go. Anyway, yep. Thanks, guys. And you guys have a great rest of your week. And I'll catch you guys next week. All right. Thanks. Cheers. See you later.